Vì có con lên không nữa không cho quá khổ nữa đây. Gân chậm mãi rồi đấy. So với mấy cụ là gân chậm thôi.
Đây mà sao đây nhá. Mà sao đây nhá.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or if this is your first time here, stick around, because what we're about to walk through is wild. Tonight, we're diving into why the floodwaters just won't go down. Even days after the rain stop, entire towns are still underwater. And the experts? They've got a simple, scary explanation. When the ground is completely soaked, like a sponge that can't hold another drop, every single raindrop has nowhere to sink in. So it races straight into creeks, rivers, and low-lying areas. Drainage ditches overflow in minutes. Spillways get clogged with branches, trash, whatever the current drags in. And here's the kicker. The rivers are so full, they start pushing water back into neighborhoods. It's a vicious loop. The flood isn't stubborn. It's trapped. Across the Philippines, floodwaters are creeping over towns and farmlands with a slow, unstoppable power. The rain might be gone, but the water's still there, swallowing whole streets and turning everyday spots into lakes. From crowded neighborhoods to wide-open fields, everything's now hidden under a churning sheet of muddy brown. Families say it started quiet, the water just slid in under doors and across floors. By the time anyone realized, it was already up the stairs, over tables, shoving furniture out of the way. For a lot of folks, the real fear kicked in after the storm ended, because that's when the flooding got worse. One major highway is completely underwater. Over 4.6 million people are trapped in this growing crisis. Entire communities are cut off, reachable only by boat or whatever raft people can throw together. Rescue crews are pushing through streets so deep that all you can see are rooftops and the tops of power poles sticking out.
Oh, may mga truso na nga anod, guys. Hoy! Kuya, yun agad to dira. Tingnan mo guys. Tinuod yun ni guys, dili yun ni prank. Bata, yun yun.
Kabanga na, yung ano ning ano bara milyo.
Kaya mo yan. Yun mo lang kayo.
Kaning bahan napon na sa perdio. Walikan ka na siya. Wato.
Ang laki na naman. Kagabi dumaan ako dyan, hindi man ganyan kalaki. Yung ilog. Kagabi lang lumaki o kaniyang umaga.
It's the middle of the night, and everything feels 100 times scarier when the sun's gone down. Up on their rooftops, families clutch flashlights like lifelines, sweeping the beams across black water that wasn't there yesterday. They strain to hear it, that low, hopeful growl of a rescue boat cutting through the silence. Every now and then, someone cups their hands and yells into the void, "Hey, you okay over there? Anybody alive on Maple Street?" Just praying a voice yells back. Whole neighborhoods are completely cut off. Roads that used to take 10 minutes to drive? Forget it. They're gone. Buried under mudslides or swallowed by floodwater so deep you can't see the pavement. If you need to get anywhere now, you better have a boat. And the guts to navigate narrow, debris-choked channels where one wrong turn could dump you into the current. Help trickles in, but only when the water calms down just enough for one lone rescue boat to slip through. A couple cases of water, a few cans of food, maybe a tarp if you're lucky. That's it. Then the boat heads back out before the next surge hits. Down at the evacuation centers, it's standing room only. High school gyms, church basements, elementary school classrooms, doesn't matter. They're all packed wall to wall with families who grabbed whatever they could carry and ran. Kids' desks are pushed against the walls to make space for rows of thin sleeping mats on the floor. The air's thick. You can smell wet socks, mildew, and that heavy, shared exhaustion that settles in when nobody knows what tomorrow looks like. People speak in whispers, like talking too loud might jinx the fragile safety they found. Every creak of the building, every distant siren, makes hearts skip. Out there in the dark, flashlights keep sweeping. Voices keep calling, and families keep waiting. Doctors out there are sounding the alarm. This isn't just about the water you can see. It's what you can't see. That murky floodwater is loaded with bacteria, chemicals, raw sewage. One cut, one scrape, and within hours you've got infections racing through your body.
Inaabot pa sila diha. Wa lagi. Dili ka duha. Asa lang sila dalhon dito. Gani ginawa nga. Kagunit sila. That was moving. Roger.
Fevers spike. Kids are breaking out in angry red rashes that spread fast. Wounds that should heal in days turn life-threatening overnight. Mobile medical teams, they're the heroes right now. Picture this. Pickup trucks loaded with whatever supplies they could grab, headlights cutting through the black, bouncing over broken roads. They roll into these soaked neighborhoods at all hours, setting up under tarps with flashlights and headlamps. They're triaging on front porches, in living rooms that still smell like wet drywall. Antibiotics, for fluids, tetanus shots, they're burning through everything they've got, and it's never enough. Out in the countryside, it's a different kind of heartbreak. Rice paddies that should be glowing green under the moon, they're just endless mirrors of black water. The entire season's harvest gone. Fish ponds that families depended on, breached and empty. Cattle, pigs, chickens, drowned where they stood. Banana plantations, mango orchards, now just drowned out swamps buzzing with mosquitoes. These farmers, man, they're standing on the edge of what used to be their fields, staring at months, maybe a whole year of starting over from zero. No crops to sell, no animals to raise, no money coming in. Kids who should be in school are helping salvage what little they can. The weight of that, you feel it in your chest. And then there are the rescue crews. God bless them. They're out there right now, long after the news cameras have gone home. Aluminum boats, headlamps bobbing like fireflies on the water. The current's still strong in places, full of junk you can't even see. Shopping carts, refrigerators, whole roofs that tore off houses. One wrong move and a hidden car hood or a fallen tree trunk flips the boat. They idle up to half-submerged homes, kill the engine, and just listen. You hear them calling out, "Hello? Anyone in there?" Voices echoing off waterlogged walls. They shine lights through busted windows, looking for movement, for a hand waving from an upstairs room. Every house is a gamble. Could be empty, could be someone clinging to a mattress, too weak to shout back. These people, the doctors, the farmers, the rescuers, they're not waiting for permission to give up. They're fighting with whatever they've got left. And tomorrow, when the sun comes up, they'll be right back at it. If you're watching this tonight, safe and dry, maybe take a second. Think about hitting that share button, dropping a link in a group chat, texting it to someone who can help. Because out there, under the same moon, there are kids who just want their rash to stop hurting. Parents who need one more dose of antibiotics. Rescuers who haven't slept in 48 hours. At night, you can spot them from the air. White flags knotted to broom handles, rebar, anything tall enough to poke above the flood. A white flag means we're hungry. Send food. A red one, t-shirt, bedsheet, whatever they could find, means somebody here needs a doctor, right now. These homemade signals are the only roadmap rescue crews have in neighborhoods that look more like lakes than streets. Behind every flag is a family on a rooftop, a second-floor window, or the last dry patch of attic. They're counting hours, not days, unsure when the next boat or chopper will show up. Oh my God. No. Whole towns are still blacked out. No streetlights, no porch bulbs, no hum from the fridge. Just the moon bouncing off miles of standing water. Roads? Gone. Bridges? Half of them underwater. Folks stay up all night, flashlight in one hand, phone dying in the other, listening for the creek to creep higher. Every sunrise adds another layer of worry. Parents stare at the muck line on their living room wall and try to picture drywall, paint, a couch that isn't ruined. Kids keep asking, when can we go home? Not realizing home is the house they're floating above. For the older neighbors, it's worse. They've lived here 60, 70 years. Seeing the corner store, the church pews, the little league field, all swallowed, rip something loose inside. Engineers say the water could sit for weeks. Spillways are jammed with debris, and the land around here is flat as a dinner plate. So people do the only thing they can. They sharpie the water level on a door frame every hour. 10 o'clock, 32 inches. 11, 31 and a half. Each tiny drop feels like a gift and a trick, because the rain's not done and the river's still angry. It's the middle of the night and the rain just won't quit. Whole neighborhoods in the Philippines are swallowed by floodwater that came down faster than anyone could run. Houses that stood for generations are now half underwater. Roofs poke out like islands in a muddy sea. Families huddle on second floors, on rooftops, anywhere the water can't reach. Kids clutch stuffed animals soaked through. Parents whisper, "It's gonna be okay," even when their own hearts are racing. But here's what the flood can't drown: the way people show up for each other. Neighbors who barely knew each other yesterday are now passing the last can of sardines down the line. A grandma shares her only dry blanket with a stranger's baby. Volunteers motor in from the next province. Boats loaded with bottled water, instant noodles, and that one thing nobody packs but everybody needs: hope. Cell towers are down. Power's gone. Whole towns are cut off like they vanished from the map. In makeshift shelters, school gyms, church halls, families sit shoulder to shoulder, eyes glued to a single battery radio. Every crackle of static feels like a lifetime. When a name finally gets called, Maria Santos, your husband is safe in Tacloban. The room explodes in tears and hugs. When the list ends without a name, the silence hurts worse than the storm. Escape routes? Forget it. The highways we all complain about in rush hour are now rivers themselves. Cars, trucks, even a city bus. Abandoned, half-submerged, bobbing like toys in a bathtub. If you need to get anywhere, you better know someone with a rowboat. One guy told me he paddled 3 miles just to deliver asthma medicine to his neighbor's kid. 3 miles. At night, in chest-deep water. That's the Philippines after a typhoon. Ordinary people doing superhero things without capes. Eventually, the rain will stop. The water will creep back to the rivers, the sea, wherever it came from. And when it does, it'll leave behind a mess you have to see to believe. Thick, stinking mud that sucks your boots off. Walls cracked like eggshells. Sofas, photo albums, kids' report cards, everything coated in slime. Rebuilding isn't glamorous. It's hauling buckets of muck at dawn. It's sleeping on a concrete floor while your house dries out. It's wondering if insurance even covers act of God. But watch, the minute the ground is solid again, the hammers come out. Moms, dads, teenagers, Lola and Lolo, everybody grabs a tool. One brick, one nail, one smile when the first light bulb flickers back on. The flood can take the land for a night, a week, maybe a month. But it can't take the spirit of these communities. Step by step, rooftop by rooftop, they rise. One home patched, one street cleared, one kid laughing again in a yard that was underwater yesterday. This is the real story of the Philippines after the storm. Not the water that tried to break them, but the people who refused to stay broken. If the story of strength and hope moved you, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that people are still good. Let's keep these stories alive, together.